welcome to the Filmmaker's Basement. I'm Brandon Gasparino.
And I'm Edward Webb.
And we're joined today by our producer, Jimmy Lucars, who's going to be talking with us about Zombieland Double Tap.
Hi, everyone.
And on today's show, we have a lot of entertainment news and reviews to get to.
So I guess I'll start. Zombieland Double Tap is a round two for our favorite zombie fighting dysfunctional family. This romp in a post-zombie apocalyptic world picks up 10 years after the original. The original cast returns with Woody Harrelson as Tallahassee, Jesse Eisenberg as Columbus, Emma Stone as Wichita, and Abigail Breslin as Little Rock. At the beginning of the film, the group settles in their new residence, the White House. As time goes on, Little Rock and Wichita become unhappy with their current state of affairs and leave. Columbus finds companionship with Madison, a girl that is a few roles short of a dozen. Basically, she's an idiot. Played by Zoe Dutch. Shortly after this, Wichita comes back and informs Columbus and Tallahassee that Little Rock has run away with a pacifist named Berkeley. They also learn that there is a more formidable zombie mutant out there that they refer to as the T-800, as a reference to Terminator. So Columbus, Tallahassee, Wichita, and Madison go on a cross-country road trip to find and save Little Rock from the pacifists and the T-800s. This movie is an amazing fun sequel to the original Zombieland. The film was written by the writers of Deadpool, and it shows. There's comedy at every turn with a little bit of horror thrown in as a cherry on top. It is not afraid to make fun of itself or address the audience directly through Columbus's narrations. I honestly believe that this film is better than the original because it took what we loved about the first one and pushed it further. The movie is full of heart, and you still care about these characters even 10 years on. Oh, and if you're going to the theaters to see this, there is a post-credit scene.
So we can't watch the post-credit scene at home?
Darn.
I mean, you could if you want.
It's good to know there's a reason
a
to...
year from now when you get the DVD.
It's good to know there's a reason to stick through the credits. And
It's the first. There's a mid-credit scene that's definitely worth sticking around for. The post-credit scene is okay. I'm not saying like if you have to go to the bathroom, just go. But the mid-credits definitely stay for that.
yeah, so I think we were talking a little bit before the show about this. I've been hearing that like the movie is very similar to the first one in that like it kind of plays the same exact way. So like if you go into this movie, you kind of know what you're getting already. Do you think that's a fair statement?
I think so. It's still like a zombie comedy. It's still, has the same. Columbus still has his rules. Tallahassee is still, the redneck, and Emma Stone's still the girl that's kind of a jerk, but has like a warm personality on the inside type of thing. But it shows the character development of all four people. It shows them, like at the first movie, they were becoming a family, and this second part, they're they're kind of driving apart. It's sort of like when teenagers are trying to rebel, and then coming back together as a family. So it's like, what can they come back together after something happens? And it's enjoyable. It's fun. It still, like I said, it still has the rules. Still has all that stuff, and it makes fun of the rules, and it pushes it to the next level. Or in the first one they did like zombie kill of the week. They redo that joke, but show someone else killing a zombie in a more crazy way. And it's fun. I mean, I gotta say, it's just as fun, or if not more fun, than the original. And you will catch yourself thinking like halfway through the movie or partly through the movie, like, I didn't see most of this stuff in the, like, when you see a trailer for something, you're like, did they show me all the jokes? This movie only showed you maybe a few of the jokes in the beginning of the movie and at the end, and then the whole center is all the stuff that I never saw before in any of the trailers. So that's what I like about it too. There's so much packed in there.
Well, that's definitely good to know. I'm a fan of the original movie too, so it's exciting to know that not only is there a sequel to it, but that's definitely good. So thank you for coming on and talking to us about this. Really interesting little insight into this new film that's coming out.
I'll take a hit and I'll leave.
In that same vein, Eddie, you actually had another review movie this week too.
Yes, I did. Ironically, it was another Jesse Eisenberg film. So, Idiosyncrasy is defined as a characteristic, habit, or mannerisms that belong to a singular person. So when it comes to filmmaking, it usually means that one particular film could have only come from one specific mind, sort of similar to the auteur theory. So whether it's David Lynch or Wes Anderson, some directors can't help but let their style shine through every script they write. And with only his second feature to date, writer and director Riley Stearns managed to create a style of all of his own with the film The Art of Self-Defense. The film follows a young man named Casey, played by Jesse Eisenberg, who enrolls in a local dojo, which is led by a charismatic and mysterious sensei, played by Alessandro Novella, to learn how to defend himself after a brutal attack. This Art of Self-Defense may be presented as an absurdist satire, but like the rest of the great satires, is a critique of our national character. So most American men can at least relate to the feeling that you're just not tough enough, as if every other guy has this understanding of some secret code of masculinity that just doesn't come naturally to you. The Art of Self-Defense brilliantly focuses on this near invisible form of peer pressure that comes from these unspoken insecurities, and it's damn funny as too.
Yes, so I had actually been introduced to this trailer like a couple months back or something like that, and I thought, at the time, this looks really funny. I want to see this. I feel like I didn't hear a single thing about it after that trailer came out. Like,
it's one of those movies
all.
where there might not necessarily be a lot of hype around it, but it's getting a lot of great reviews out of festivals, and it just disappears into the ether. But luckily enough, I remembered it one night at like 2 a.m., and then I just illegally downloaded it. I'm sorry.
Oh boy. Is it still in its theatrical run, or did it already come out?
Oh, no, it's out. You could rent it anywhere.
All right. That is
I just didn't have
cool.
the money at the time. Riley, I'm sorry that I didn't rent your film.
Yeah, that's actually something I did notice the first time when I was reading this. This is his second film he's ever made?
Yes, his first film is a movie called Faults. It stars Elizabeth, I forgot her name, and I feel bad. The actress that plays, the actress from 10 Cloverfield Lane.
That the lead?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I don't necessarily know what it is about, but I know it has to do a lot with conversion therapy.
Oh, okay. That's definitely an interesting way to go. Do you know if that was a dark comedy like this? Or
Yes.
Is that this guy's style, was what it seems like?
From what I can see, yes, it's just sort of his style. But this one is just one of the oddest movies I've seen in a long time. Not necessarily like I mentioned David Lynch, not necessarily odd like that, but just the things that happen, they don't feel right. Because it feels so, it's like the film is still planted in reality, but just the things that happen aren't things that should happen. And it just feels so, it makes you feel a little disoriented.
Okay. What do you mean by like shouldn't happen? Like what does that mean? Like things that don't make sense?
There is, how can I put this? I'm trying to put this without spoiling it. Just people do and say things in a very matter-of-fact way when in reality the person who done it would be behind bars. But there's really not a lot of repercussion, and if there is repercussion, in one case there's a lot more repercussion. But other times if there's repercussion, just kind of go on with like no punishment for it.
Oh wow.
And it doesn't feel lazy, or it doesn't feel like that's like supposed to be like a fantasy type of thing. It just it feels like it's just the rules of this little universe that created, but it's still so similar to ours that it just makes you feel off.
All right. Well, I love how unique that sounds, and I mean, the trailer was hilarious for this movie. Like, it really just seemed like that, and coupled with the fact that it's coming with like this really interesting and cool satirical message, like, I feel like that's something I'm gonna want to give a shot at some point in the future. Speaking of movies that I'm definitely giving a shot. So, on October 13th, Universal dropped the first trailer for Dolittle, starring Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Dolittle, a man who can speak to animals. In the trailer, we see that Dolittle and his animal friends going around the world on a trip. Throughout the trailer, a wonderful world is in the background. All right, Eddie, what did you think of this? This wonderful, wonderful experience that we got taken on.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of things that I would rather do than watch this movie. One of which is headbutt a bullet.
Would you watch Flaked instead of this movie?
I would watch Flaked on repeat for 24 hours instead of even watching the trailer again. And it's not. It doesn't seem bad. It seems very like a very non-offensive movie.
Yes.
But it's just why? Why are we getting this?
I know, right? Like, I mean, I was literally thinking that exact same thing. Like, it's such a non-offensive trailer, but I don't feel like I get anything out of it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing like I feel like that's special about this trailer compared to any other like Hollywood blockbuster like that.
The only thing, maybe if, quality-wise aside, like movies like The Lion King haven't came out because they are beautiful. They look great. But I feel like that's one of the main attractions of a Dr. Dolittle movie is seeing like all of the, I don't know if they use CGI or they just had a lot of animal trainers on set. I'm assuming they use CGI. I feel like maybe that's sort of something that would attract people to see just, oh, look how great it looks. Well, we already seen that with, The Lion King, The Jungle Book, Aladdin to a lesser extent. We're seeing movies that look breathtaking with CGI, and this one just doesn't really seem to add anything to that market.
I mean, the problem I have with that is, yeah, sure, the CGI looked great in all those movies, like in the Dumbo movie, like the CGI looked good, but like, besides that, the movie's soulless. Like, there's
Yeah.
no soul to like Aladdin or to The Lion King or anything like that. That's kind of what I'm getting from this movie almost. Like, sure, we have all these really cool special effects, and like we get to see these really amazing looking CGI animals and boats for some reason and that kind of thing, but it just doesn't feel like there's a soul to it. Like, there's nothing like, there's no vision that comes together or moral that it's trying to chase after. It's just going for the money.
And I'm very interested to see the staying power of a lot of these movies. Because to this day, it shocks me that Avatar was the highest grossing movie for as long as it was. Because I don't know anybody that really recalls anything about that movie except they were blue and that it's kind of loosely based on Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really know anything about Avatar.
I mean, like, the one thing I remember is that it's live action Fern Gully. Like, that's
Pretty
pretty
much.
much it. It's like, yeah, I mean, but that's great and all. It made like $1 billion, but no one remembers anything about it. So like, I don't know. I just don't see this having like, this doesn't seem like it's gonna go well for me at the very least. Speaking of things that might go well though.
Yes. And more DC news. Lord knows what they're doing over there. Paul Dano has been casted as the Riddler after talks with Jonah Hill has fell through. So now Paul Dano will be casting Zoe Kravitz, who was portraying Catwoman, and was Twilight guy, Blue guy. Robert Pattinson, who will be portraying Batman. Other films that Dano has been in include 12 Years a Slave, There Will Be Blood, Little Miss Sunshine, and Prisoners, all of which he's been beaten up in, so I assume he might also get beat up in the Batman movie. For Kravitz, she has been in Mad Max, First Class, X-Men First Class, and oddly enough has already played Catwoman, but in the Lego Batman movie. So they will also be joining Jeffrey Wright, who is playing Commissioner Gordon. The film will be directed by Matt Reeves and expected to be released in 2021.
Yeah, so I feel like it's interesting they're starting off with the Riddler as a villain. Like, whenever I think of Batman villains, I think of like the big ones, like Mr. Freeze or Poison Ivy, Joker, like, even, I don't know about Scarecrow. I think Scarecrow's just Dark Knight for me, but
About
like,
Penguin.
A Penguin, yeah, actually Penguin would be the better example there. Like, I think about those villains, but I don't necessarily like remember the Riddler. It's just such a weird one to pull out for me.
I know he wears a lot of green, but from all accounts, it's not necessarily just the Riddler and Catwoman being, like the bad guys of the movies. From all accounts, there's a murder that takes place in Gotham, and Batman is going around trying to be a detective and find out who did it. So he's kind of not necessarily interviewing these people, but he's going to them and trying to find answers. So I don't think the Riddler is a primary villain in it. He's just one of the people of Gotham who may be a suspect.
Okay, that changes things a little bit, 'cause that makes the film seem more interesting to me. If Batman's actually being a detective for once, like he originally was, instead of just punching people and taking names, chewing gum or something like that. I don't know. But like, it just seems like something that would be more interesting to follow, and especially as like a follow-up to like the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
This is like a very different take from that, which I think is like the quintessential Batman. Like, Christopher Nolan's Batman is like, that is the Batman. That is like the best Batman we have gotten.
I'm more of a Michael Keaton guy myself.
Oh, of course. I mean, dude.
Even Val Kilmer.
Dude, I mean, whoever was the Batman that had bat nipples on his uniform, that was
George Clooney.
George Clooney. Yeah.
How
But,
he
like,
recovered from that, Lord knows.
I don't even know, but I actually really like that idea. So I think it'll be interesting to see who else they have like starring in these roles. Like, what other villains are they going to bring back? Are we?
I don't know, but maybe Scarecrow, maybe the Penguin. Penguin I think is pretty easy to cast. Let Danny DeVito do it.
Oh my God!
Just let him do it again.
Let's do it again. He was so good the first time. Let's.
You know,
bring
he
back
actually got a
Danny DeVito.
Razzie nomination for his portrayal of the Penguin, which
Ooh.
I don't understand.
That's impressive. Well, I'm interested to see this movie coming to theaters. Maybe even coming to AMC's new little service they got going here. So it looks like AMC is joining the streaming service craze. They've launched their own platform called AMC Theaters on Demand. This allows its users to rent from approximately like $3 to $5.99, or buy from $9.99 to $19.99 over 2,000 movies on AMC's platform, much like the iTunes Store or Google Play Store. These films can be streamed or downloaded for later viewings. This account is also connected to the AMC Stubs account, so any purchases made like on this account will now be converted into points, which users can use to earn rewards like a free popcorn refill or size upgrades for drinks. While AMC has stressed that they're in a unique position to start this platform with 20 million AMC Stubs members, I am left wondering how successful a platform like this can be compared to all the streaming apps coming out in the next year.
Yeah, AMC. I don't think this is going to go very well for you.
Seriously, it's like they feel like they're. I was saying this before. It feels like they're 10 years too late on this idea. Like
this could have been huge around the time that Blockbuster was still a thing, like right as they were going out of business.
Oh, 100%. Like if it had gotten around the time when Netflix was in its infancy, this would have been a perfect idea.
Yeah.
Everyone would have been all over this. It would have had such staying power in the industry, and AMC really would have established itself as a dominant force. But they're 10 years too late.
They fumbled it.
Yeah, and I don't know like who's gonna be buying movies on like okay. I completely get like the rewards program and all that. Like, okay, that's a cool side benefit. For I think it's every dollar you spend, you get like 100 points or something like that.
Yes.
And those are points you can accumulate to use by rewards and all that. However, for me, the rewards don't seem like they're worth it. Like,
Yeah, it's like, get a slightly larger tub of popcorn.
especially when you're buying movies on a platform you don't know if it's gonna exist next year.
Yeah.
That's the big other downside I'm seeing of this. It's entirely possible that if this isn't successful, like, what's gonna happen to my movies? Like, am I still gonna have them after this, or like, are they just gonna disappear forever? Like, I don't want to lose my stuff that I buy. So I personally do not trust this at all.
I wouldn't either. Like even Netflix seems to be on borrowed time at this point. You know, something like Amazon controls the world. Amazon's gonna be fine.
Yes.
Disney's gonna be fine. If this could happen to Netflix, what chance does an AMC streaming service really have?
Exactly.
Especially if you can't just watch these movies on demand. You have to pay for them. First off, I'll just stream it before I go to AMC to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yes, you do get access, you can stream the AMC thing from anywhere after you've bought it, or download your videos onto your computer or whatever, but why would I do that when I have like the iTunes Store and Google Play Store? Owned by two bigger companies who I know are not gonna just say, oh yeah, we're not using our stores anymore. That's just gone forever. It's like, I know iTunes is gonna exist tomorrow, and I know Google Play is gonna exist tomorrow. I don't know if this is gonna exist tomorrow.
I don't know if it's just come out, if they'll ever launch it.
Yeah, right? Speaking of things launching this week, we got a couple new movies coming out now. So there's a couple new movies coming out this week. We got Black and Blue, The Countdown, and a crowd favorite, The Lighthouse. So I actually didn't know what the first two were before we started this. Also should probably start watching more trailers again, because that's been something I've fallen off of doing.
I mean, if these are the movies that they're giving us, we don't really have to watch the trailers. But except The Lighthouse.
Now, The Lighthouse, I've been excited about I don't know when the trailer came out for The Lighthouse. I think I saw it then, and I've been excited for it ever since I saw this trailer. It just looks so good, like...
I really had to see The Witch, which is the director's feature prior to The Lighthouse. Like, I don't know what on God's green earth The Lighthouse is really about, but I'm sold.
And that's what's fantastic about it. The trailer is perfect. Like, it is so confusing and you can't figure out what it's about, but that's not a bad thing. This whole movie is not about, like, you don't know what's happening necessarily, and that's awesome. Like you're watching Willem Dafoe and like Robert Pattinson arguing over
In the lighthouse.
over a bird in the lighthouse, and the next second we're cutting to like Robert Pattinson, tentacles behind him. Like, what is happening? Oh my god, I'm so excited! I cannot wait for this movie.
Are you as excited for Countdown?
I thought that was a Blumhouse movie. I totally it felt like
seems
a Blumhouse.
like I'm surprised. Actually, you saying that is how I found out it's not a Blumhouse.
I know, right? Like I was looking at when I was watching the trailer, I was like, wait, this isn't a Blumhouse movie? Like this seems so
it seemed really up their alley.
It really does. And I was watching the trailer and I just thought like this would be a really funny comedy.
It would.
Like a bunch of people trying to stop death from killing them through this app. Like I'd watch that. That'd be
I think it was kind of like Final Destination but with iPhones.
Yeah, exactly. And it just seems like a Bye-Bye Man. It seems like it's very generically scary, and it's going to be a bunch of jump scares, and it's going to make $1 billion because a bunch of people are going to pay to see it opening weekend.
Yeah, there's not really any other horror movies to combat it. Even The Lighthouse is more definitely niche.
Yes,
so
it is its own thing.
The Countdown, if it had a pretty low budget, I'm sure we'll make it double that.
It looks very low budget. I don't know. It just is kind of depressing to watch that trailer.
Yeah.
But and then we got Blue and Black. That is, I hope I'm saying the name right of this movie. That seems very interesting.
I like the concept of it.
Yes, it seems like an interesting concept. I don't know how to feel about it necessarily.
From the trailers, I'm not very excited, but if you were just to tell me just the log line of the film without me knowing who's attached or seeing anything about it, I would be excited for it.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I feel like I want to see it, just see how well, because this seems like a movie where the action is the main focus.
Yes.
Like a Tom Cruise movie, like Mission Impossible movie or whatever. So like, I might give it a shot just for that, just to see how that goes. And I think that might be worthwhile for me at least.
I'll rent it one day on the AMC app.
Yes. So thank you for watching The Filmmaker's Basement. I'm Brandon Gasparino.
And I'm Edward Webb.
And we hope to see you guys next week.